Milk Crate Business Moments podcast. You guys have never gotten it right one time since
Well,
September, not one time.
why
But
start
exactly, right? So today I want to introduce you to Dr. Terry Wager and the lovely Christine McGinley. And listen, I've known these guys. I've known who they were for a couple years, but it was just this last week I got to spend some more time with them, really find out who they are, right? And then I'm like, hey, you want to be on my podcast, right? Let's talk about business. And
now?
I was telling them, I believe I talked to you guys about what a milk crate moment was. Did I?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So yay, that's one down, right? So question number one, what is your milk crate moment? We'll get into who you are in just a little bit. Well, no, maybe we should do that first. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you guys are real quick?
All right. Christine, talk about who you are first.
How about if I talk about you? That sounds like
Okay.
fun.
Okay, great.
That's nice. Talk about each other.
Terry is amazing because he can dig deeper into what's going on in your head. So like the inner game. As a trained psychologist, kind of like a geek in business as well, he really likes to decipher what's going on, where you're headed in your business as a consultant and an advisor. So many times we are our own blind spots, and Terry helps give our clients a different perspective on where they're going. I mean, he worked with emotional distraught kids, and then he went into the prison system and helped reform a system in California. So the guy knows how to get you to take action and move forward. You want to tell him about me?
Yeah, I'll talk about Christine. Christine is amazing in her own right. She worked for Starbucks for 19 years. Right out of the gate, within a few months, they saw that she had leadership potential, and so they started promoting her. And very quickly, she was running her own stores. And at some points in her career, she was dual managing 2 stores at once. And they had her on a district manager track. She never really wanted to do that. She wanted to stay in the lower management, working with the crews. But she got really good at identifying strong people and building strong hiring practices. And then not only that, learning how to actually help people tap into their own potential to grow and become the leaders that they were. And she has probably the record in Starbucks for people coming in to the job thinking about being a barista for a little while and then ending up in management positions, one after the other. And I think right before she joined me with Generator Coaching, she had promoted because of their ability that they learned through her, I think 4 or 5 people into shift managers and 2 or 3 people into managing their own stores. And so she has a real knack for identifying where people fit in the system, how to actually get them to perform, and really help them to see their own brilliance to take advantage of how to be that leader.
Well, I had no doubt she was smart. Right after just spending a couple days with you guys, I had no doubt that Christine was super smart. I didn't know you did all that, Christine. So, yay for you! All right, so let's get at it. What was your milk crate moment in business?
Can you only have one, because we have like 17 milk crates?
I feel like
we trip over milk crates. I think it's one of the things that's made us grow super fast and have the sense of humor about what we do is we run into milk crates more than actually have success.
So for our friends that don't sit on milk crates, Jean, or understand what that concept is, you explain it to us. Give it to us in a nutshell so our audience can know too.
Oh, okay. Well, I bought a bankrupt business, right? A bankrupt chocolate store, brick and mortar. So I had a lease and everything. And 2 weeks after I bought it and no customers were coming in the door, bankrupt. I literally was sitting on a milk crate in the kitchen crying because I had made the biggest mistake of my life. I felt my kids were never going to go to college. We had just built our dream home and paid cash for it. And I took a loan out on it to buy that business and I didn't take any extra money, no marketing, no money, no inventory money. And I really just thought for a moment that we were going to lose everything. And it was going to be all my fault. And God, how could I live with that? Because my husband is my biggest supporter, and I would do anything not to let him down. So that makes me a little emotional just talking about it, because of milk, that was milk crate moment really defined who I was, right? I had to get my ass up off the milk crate and get to work. So awesome.
Yeah, and I think when we look at our moment where we're like, oh crap, everything's falling apart, or everything's we're
not
in
what we
trouble here.
wanted,
This
yeah.
isn't what we signed up for. I had moved away from my standard psychology practice, working in therapy and such, and started working with businesses. And I was doing my own thing and I was making money, and it was fine. But Christine stepped out of Starbucks, which was very, very difficult for her to make that jump. And she jumped in to start working with me. And I didn't really have an idea how to market, because as a psychologist, and you can't market the way that marketers market as a psychologist. You have to be more passive. And I didn't really know how to ask for money. I knew how to actually sell people on change, but I didn't know how to ask for money. And so we're in this situation where we both want to help businesses. We want to help business grow. We want to help entrepreneurs be more productive. And we don't know how to do it. And so we started jumping into different things, and we spent a crap ton of money, about $100,000
In one
in
summer.
coaching that did nothing for us.
Wow.
And we didn't know what to do. And actually, at that, we went to another event in 2019, and the offer was $50,000 to learn how to speak from stage, to
And
get
get a book.
coaching clients, and you get a book out of it, and do these things. And we're both looking at each other like, $50,000, we're already screwed. We don't know what to do. We don't know how we're going to move forward, but we know we need this. We
I
know we
spoke
need
at that event.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
Yes,
and
you
I
probably still have your order form somewhere.
I love it. I love it. All right. So what happened? So you're at the point you're like, okay, we have an offer for $50,000. Now what?
I was trying to figure out how to make PayPal work, to pay the deposit, and we had no idea where we were going to get the money, but we had just paid something else off, and so we're like, okay, if we shift our funds and if we figure out how to do this, this could be really good for us. And if we don't, we're going to go bankrupt. And what comes out of that? I mean, what could be worse than that? And, I have a history of, go ahead.
It might be right where you're headed. Most likely it is. It was, well, we either take this opportunity and go all in again, paying $1,000 a week. And knowing the worst that what could happen is we would have to claim bankruptcy. That was the worst. And oh, well, we have the mentality of bouncing back. And it's that leap of faith that we can move forward, and it's just money, or it's us taking a chance on what we do.
That's a really huge decision to make. And so where I just had to decide, can I get up and go wipe my nose off and go wait on a client that might come in to the chocolate store? You literally were putting yourself in more debt past that $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge.
Yes.
Well, coming from stability with Starbucks for 19
stability,
years.
and I already had, I'm a doctor of psychology, and what that really means is I paid a crap ton of money to get degrees that I will then be paying off for years and years and years. And that's the deal you make when you become a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, or whatever other higher education you're paying money into. And some people, have the full ride type of thing. I paid for mine. And what that means is I took out loans. And so I'm very familiar
all kinds
with
of loans.
Very familiar with borrowing money to better myself. For me, it all came from the fact that I had a really crappy life that I created for myself in the 90s. I didn't take care of myself. I made some really bad decisions. I didn't know how to stop drinking. And I got to a place in my life that I had to actually quit drinking and make some changes, or
A milk crate moment.
everything. It was a milk crate moment for myself. And it's like, okay. And it wasn't quite a milk crate. It was more like a jail cell. I'm in jail on a DUI going, I need to do something different because I can't keep doing this. And that moment was really a faith creating moment, because I had none before. I had no faith in anybody but me. And I was doing a very poor job at my life. And so I surrendered to a process that started making me change. And I bring that process into everything I do, which is, one, I had to admit that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do it. And then start listening to the brilliance of others. And that's, we have a book that we wrote in 2020 called
From that program.
From that program, Quit Taking Your Own Bad Advice, How to Stop Overthinking and Start Following the Brilliance of Others. And that's all based on the idea that I had to stop listening to my head and my fear and my thinking that I can figure it out all on my own, and start listening to other people and see what happens. And that's what we did in that moment with 2019, sitting there trying to figure out on a napkin how we're going to pay for this when we don't really have much coming in. And so,
isn't it interesting? I mean, look where you guys were at, and you went all in, right? There was like no backing out. It's like, we're either all in or we're bankrupt, right? That's so much further than a milk moment, Terry, that that's like the 55-gallon drum crate moment, barrel, whatever it is. But wow, I had no idea that mine seems a little silly at this point when I'm thinking back on it, because that's life-changing what you were doing, right? So yeah. So first of all, thank you for sharing all of that with us, because think back to, and I'm thinking right now of how many people have I met that won't invest a $97 ticket to an event that could change their life, or even a $47 ticket that could change their life, let alone go away for 3 days. And I was with you guys for 3 days last week. And even after 3 days and we all kind of hung out together, I still didn't know all of that. Mm-hmm. Right. So, wow, that's amazing. So, let's talk about, I'm just kind of going off script here, so I hope that's okay. These are just supposed to be 15, 20 minutes, but you're really kind of interesting.
Well, there's two of us.
Well, yes, Christine, I'm sorry. I just assumed that you are part of that piece. So thank you. So let's talk about your milk crate moment for a moment, Christine.
Oh, I'd say that's my milk crate moment too, is just like knowing that was you leap. You can't just half leap off the cliff. You go all in, and it paid off. I mean, that's the biggest piece of it, is we ended up with a book, and that makes a little bit of money, but it's great to have that as a lead gen. We've had several people that have been, oh, I read your book, I need to work with you, and they renewed, and that's how they come in. But it was crunch time. Milk crate moments happen all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Because we get down, we're like, oh crap, what are we doing now? And you just take the next best step. And that's what we really teach our clients to do, is to take the next step. Often a term Terry brought to my attention was, we stack the books. When you stack the books, they just get heavier and heavier and nothing happens. All you're doing is looking at how tall your stack is. Right. And when you stack the books, it's building your milk crate. It's dropping you down into that milk crate spot, rather than, okay, what can I do? What is my number one goal? What is my priority that I can get done? And where do I ask for help in the movement? And that's where, I think that's when you notice you're having those milk crate moments, that's where you reach out for help and have the faith.
Absolutely. And I'm going to have to say, she had a milk crate moment before that at Starbucks. And what it was is she was doing all of this and she wasn't getting the fulfillment she was looking for. And she felt a little bit micromanaged as Howard Schultz leaves Starbucks and somebody else comes in. The culture changes a little bit. And this is one of the reasons that we work with businesses with culture, because it's very, very important to her, the culture that she had when Charles Schultz was not Howard Schultz. God, Howard Schultz. When Howard Schultz was running it, is very different. And so when he'd leave, she'd notice the shift, and she'd start feeling more like just somebody that was doing something for a bigger business, a cog in the wheel instead of a person. And we had conversations over and over about, well, you're either going to move into the district management spot and start really working at a higher level in the higher management, or just leave and work with me. Because I was actually getting kind of jealous that she's building all of these leaders when she could jump on my team and we could do it together. and really be the dynamic duo that we hear people say we are, in our community and things like that. Um, but I was just feeling like she wasn't there, and uh, she was not liking her job. So I'm like, if you don't like it anymore, then why are you devoting so much time to something you don't like? And that's one of the things that we talk about with our clients when we're working in teams, is like, if you don't like it, you got to make some changes. Sitting on your milk crate in the middle of the problem is not going to actually move you forward.
Literally could sit on the milk crate at Starbucks.
And absolutely, they had plenty. And so she jumped ship and she came over and started working with me.
We weren't initially working together though. That was the thing. It wasn't until we actually were like, we need to align together and blow this thing out of the woods. We had the Airbnb that we rented. We had the comedy hypnosis that we were trying to get gigs. We still do that. But I mean, we were trying to work 3 jobs or three directions. COVID was like, no, you're not. You're going to work 1. And that's really where we took off, along with our coaching, was getting that redirect into how to help businesses grow and have leaders have more leadership and influence.
Well, and for us,
so we're not going to keep talking because we love to talk.
I'm loving listening. And if I'm loving listening, I can't imagine that other people aren't really interested in your story, because that's what it is. It's like, you guys are inspirational in what you did, because so many people would have said no to that opportunity. I think that's what's the inspirational piece here, is that you said yes, right? I literally am the person that will jump up, climb the hill and just jump up and like, I know there will be a parachute there someplace to catch me on the way down. And it usually involves in like a broken leg and a shoulder, collarbone busted. Right? I've lost all my teeth in that. That's what my milk crate moments feel like, or because I'm just like pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Spontaneous, right? It's like, oh, a chocolate store for sale? Well, let me buy that, right? Don't need to do any research.
Everybody likes chocolate.
Right. But I love the fact that you guys are really like that too, right? Because while you had to figure it out, you did. You figured it out, you invested in yourself for something that would make your lives better in the long run. And I love that. I love that story. So so let's talk about what you have to offer people today. I know you have something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so we have what we call the Pro Max 2.0, and it's when we're working with bigger businesses, we have 6 questions of clarity that we go through with them to really get their team aligned and work together.
Some might call it culture.
Building a culture, but it's really built around where you're going, how you're going there, and so behaviorally how you want to show up as you're going there, and then talking about strategic anchors. But one of the things that we find most companies want is, what the hell are we doing right now? And so that's one of the first questions we tackle. It's question number 5, but it's the first question we tackle for the simple reason that it gives people something to really focus on. And so this productivity maximizer is all about, what is your next 90-day goal that you want to go all in on, that isn't going to just do the day-to-day, but it's going to actually shift your business in a very strong direction, so that you can have the movement in your business. So working on your business, what can you do in the next 90 days, and then help them really identify their focal objectives that really focus on that 90-day goal. And then on the bottom of the sheet, really, what are those things that you need to keep doing so that you can have a profitable business while you're focusing on that one goal.
Yeah, it's really pinpointed to people that are looking to scale their business. They're like second stage, third stage businesses, as we say, in our world. And our clients love it because it's very focused. It's almost like the framework or the scaffolding, you would say, of how to lay out their time and to be more productive and effective in growing the business they really desire.
I love that. So, who is your ideal client, by the way?
Well, we have 2, and COVID gave us the gift of having 2 ideal clients. Our ideal client in our consulting business is bigger businesses that have a leadership team of 5 to 7 that are doing well, but they could do better, and they're not really reaching their potential. And so we help them with more clarity and more cohesion so that they can actually move to the next level that they want to hit.
But we've also found that it helps with the entrepreneurs that we're talking about that are in
Absolutely.
second stage, third stage, where they're growing their team and they have problems. They just want mini me's. Just why can't they do it the way I would do it? And so it's the ability to get everybody kind of on the same page. And as you're hiring the right people, you get the stickiness and the quality of people that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
That will stay with you.
Absolutely. And then the other group that were the out of COVID, we started working with entrepreneurs who really have time problems with using their time right. And so this tool is really for productivity. And we have a productivity group on Tuesdays that we work with entrepreneurs with productivity specifically. And so that's our other group that we work with.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, let's give away the Generator Pro Max 2.0. Is that it? Is that what it's called?
Generator Pro. It's the Generator Pro Max, but we've improved it and made it the 2.0.
Awesome. I love it. So I put it up there. So hopefully everybody can grab that link there. And so before we end, I always like to ask one last question. It's like, what's the best advice you've ever been given that you've taken?
Say yes.
Mm.
Say yes. So many people, and we work with the same coach. Jean and us work with the same coach. And I've watched it in her groups. I've watched it in my groups. I've watched it in my clients throughout the years, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm working with businesses or whether I was working in the prison system or I was working with the severely emotionally disturbed kids or with the entrepreneurs. People say no because they're scared of moving forward. And if you just say yes, and I want to figure out how, or I want to find out how, I like find out a little bit better because then I'm asking somebody else. But when we say yes, we're opening a door to opportunity. And I never know what's on the other side of a door until I open it. And so too many people are trying to guess what's going to happen. And they say no because they're scaring themselves with the answer. And so they say no and they stifle their growth.
You know, that made me think of something that with small business owners, right? That their first go-to answer is no. And I saw that so much in when I had the chocolate stores. People would come in and ask for something, and I heard my employees say, "No, we don't do that." I'm like, "Oh, no, right? We say yes to everything. What if we don't know how to do it? We'll figure it out. Oh, you want a fudge mountain that looks like a volcano? I can figure that out, right? I can make that.
We can build
And
that.
whatever that is, we would figure it out,
Mhm.
right? Because saying yes always brings more opportunity. I'm so glad you said that. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. I love that. Christine, what's yours? You
I'm
can't
wavering
take Jerry.
between two, but I'll tie it in.
Okay.
The idea of asking for help. I think so many times we try to do everything on our own rather than being vulnerable and asking for someone to help you in the direction that you're going. And that might be saying yes to a coach. It might be saying yes to actually making the offer because you're wanting to help. So I think it's asking and asking for help as well as offering your help.
Love it. You guys are awesome. You guys, I had so much fun with you guys, getting to know who you are and hanging out with you last week. So thank you so much for saying yes to the Milk Crate Business Moments podcast. I'm so happy that you're here, and I know that there will be more of them. So, all right, have a great day. We're going to be out of here for now, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
It's been a pleasure, Jean.
Bye, Jean. Bye, everybody.